Good morning, students. Today we are going to read another very important question in the topic of Lucknow Pact in history O-level subject. This is very important question, students, so concentrate yourself. The question is, the Lucknow Pact of 1916 was the most important attempt by either the Muslims, Hindus, or the British government in seeking a solution to the problems in the subcontinent between 1909 and 1919. Do you agree? Give reasons for your answers. So this is very important question. We have to give reasons according to like Muslims point of view, Hindus point of view, and British government point of view, that this was the most sincere effort to find the solutions between 1909 and 1919. So concentrate yourself now. Lucknow Pact was a significant movement in the movement towards self-rule, as it was the first time that the Hindus and the Muslims had made a joint demand for the political reforms to the British. There were major concessions by Congress, and they showed how keen it was to gain the support of the League. The pact included a set of the common demands to the British, as minorities in the provinces should be protected. Number of the elected seats on the councils should be increased. Muslims had the right of separate electorates. Weightage be given to the Muslims in the provinces according to their population. Muslims should be given 1/3 of the seats in the councils, and self-rule be supported by the Muslims for the Congress. The pact marked the first acceptance by the Hindus that a degree of the partition would be necessary in any self-governing India. So these were the demands which were jointly presented to British from the Muslims and the Hindus. In 1909, the parliamentary reforms gave an opportunity to Muslims for separate electorates. The Imperial Council was increased to 60 members by adding more non-official members. Executive Council was increased by adding 60 new members. Provincial councils were also increased to 50 members in larger and 30 in smaller provinces. So these were some concessions given by the British to subcontinent in the form of the parliamentary reforms. Congress was greatly against the separate electorates and fought against it for the next 25 years. In 1911, the partition of the Bengal was also reversed, which made the Muslims unhappy, and Congress was very happy. The trust of the Muslims on British ended. In 1919, after the World War I, Turkey was to be divided among British allies. It made the Muslims unhappy, which led to the start of the Khilafat movement by Ali brothers and Maulana Abul Kalam Azad to save the seat of the Muslim Khilafat. The Khilafat movement threatened the British a lot, but due to the non-cooperation movements caused off by Gandhi, Muslims realized the selfishness of the Hindus for this self-rule. The Khilafat movement was a failure on the part of the Muslims, as it could not save the seat of the Khilafat, but gave the Indian Muslims a great confidence to fight for their rights. In 1919, the Montague-Chelmsford reforms by British imposed diarchy in the provinces. Reserved subjects were controlled by the provincial governors and his executive council. Transferred subjects were entrusted to ministers responsible to provincial legislative council. The viceroy had the authority to dismiss the provincial legislative councils. The voting rights were increased to 2% population. These were again some reforms, some concessions which were given by the British in 1919 in the form of the Montague-Chelmsford reforms. The Indian did not like the reforms as the concessions they demanded were not given. Congress and the League had recently come together calling for self-rule, and they were bitterly disappointed by the new structure. It was true that the local people had more say in how their country was governed, but in reality, British Viceroy had all the powers. The reforms led to the Rowlatt Act 1919, which eventually moved towards the Amritsar massacre in 1919, killing many innocent people. However, in my opinion, the Lucknow Pact 1916 marked the high watermark of Hindu-Muslim unity. It showed that Muslims acknowledged that they stood much more chance of protecting their rights if they worked with Congress against the British. Yes, to my opinion, this was the big achievement in 1916 in the form of the Lucknow Pact that was signed between the Muslim League and the Congress. This was a good effort made by British, Hindus, and the Muslims for protecting, for doing some reforms in the subcontinent. This is very important lecture, students. Read this lecture again and make your notes. Thank you so much.